She broke bones. She broke skin. She probably pierced his eyes. She had completely destroyed his face. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Happy Saturday. Happy Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Of course, because this is one of our true crime story videos, we're happy. We're having a good day, but we got a lot to talk about. So now it's time to get serious. Today's case, very interesting one to me. Do any of you guys know people who are different when they drink? Or perhaps you've been told before that you're different when you drink. And I mean, everyone is. That's the purpose of alcohol, right? But there are some people that something comes out of them. This rage or this feeling or something that they've been holding inside, and it really turns them into a different type of person. This case, I couldn't find a whole lot about Anna Trujillo before, where everything starts in 2009, which is crazy because if you look her up, homie's doing interviews left and right. I think this woman has more interviews than Jodi Arias. And I'm like, for what? Are they paying you commissary for this or something? At the end of this, we're going to check out one of her interviews, which I haven't seen yet, but only after I tell you the story, we walk through it together, and then we gonna judge this bitch. So in 2009, Anna Trujillo is about 41 years old, and she's going through her second divorce. I get this. I talk about this all the time. If you live in a small town, it's basically sold to us that at 20 years old, you're supposed to, go to college and then meet your next boyfriend or girlfriend or something around college. You settle down by 23, 24, have kids by 25 or 26, make your parents happy, and then happily ever after. This doesn't make any sense to me because there's 50 or 60 years after that. Are you kidding me? Anna goes through her first marriage sometime in her 20s, 30s, whatever, it doesn't work out. She tries again, ends up getting divorced at 41. And so she's out here and it's time for a new life. And you know what life Anna chooses? She decides, fuck men, I'm gonna use all their money. And look, I think she initially did this kind of on some hot girl shit.
I can't talk right now. I'm doing hot girl shit.
So she moves out to Houston and she starts dating just everybody. She's dating rich dudes, she's dating hot dudes. She's just like out here trying to, I guess, have a little fun. She ends up meeting 59-year-old Stefan Anderson. Now, people said that he was very smart, he was charming, he was financially well off. I saw this picture of Anna where she was in a hotel. It was after they got together, and she's got her heels on and she's like standing on the windowsill, and she just looks like fun. And when I was looking at their relationship and some of the details, what I kind of got from this, and maybe this is my theory, is that Stefan probably also similarly settled down early in his 20s or 30s. The nice girl, the take her home or something like that. But I think that Stefan, he liked wild women. He's about 15 or 20 years her senior, and they're just having fun, it seems like. Now, the way that they like to have fun is drinking. They loved to drink. They were both super, super aggressive alcoholics. And, sometimes people like this, they tend to argue a lot. But, maybe it was every other night they argue. Maybe there's 2 good nights and there's 1 bad one. Whatever. They were just having fun. And sometimes that toxicity is fun for people because it's familiar. People that were raised in a home with, let's say, an abusive parent that constantly said I love you, I'm your mom, or something like that. They end up teaching a relationship of abuse, and then they teach the child that abuse is love. And so sometimes when that kind of isn't healed or rectified, later in life, you go out and seek these types of volatile relationships because it feels comfortable to you. Anna Trujillo is probably used to, duking it out and, battling. To her, this is love. It's fun. It's generating emotion. Sometimes people they believe that love has to generate a strong emotion. Arguing and anger is not the emotion that you're looking for. Another thing about their relationship, Stefan had a shoe fetish. Now, I don't know if Anna participated in it and enjoyed it as well, or if she was just, taking all these free shoes he was buying her. Homie had her up in the Louboutins to see her walking around in the red bottoms. This man truly did have a shoe fetish. When they went out together, she was always wearing heels. And not just a little kick up. I'm talking some 5.5-inch stilettos. and he loved it. Did she love this? Debatable, but you see her in several pictures wearing all the shoes, and seems like everything worked out. So, that was the plan. She was in her 40s, he was, late 50s, and they were just gonna get married, be wild, and get drunk all the time together and live happily ever after. But of course, that's not what's going to happen today. Let's go back to Anna's history a little bit. She has an incredibly unique history of violence. If you're familiar with the Heather Barbera case, you remember what she did before what she did. Or if you're familiar with the Amy Bishop case, you know what she did before she did what she did. You must pay attention to these patterns of violence. One thing that Anna did that was very strange was there was a report where a witness actually took the stand afterwards in court and said that Anna just slapped them after a very brief argument. Homie was slapping strangers in public. This to me shows this entitlement to the world. Like, I can let my anger out on whoever I want and just walk away. You know what I mean? Another incident, she had ex-husbands, she had ex-boyfriends, and there was one instance where she went to her ex's house. And she's kind of either trying to stay there, or maybe they said she was trying to steal something. And eventually he tells her, you need to get out. She's drunk, she's arguing, she feels entitled to this space, maybe because she'd been there in the past. That doesn't mean anything. She's throwing a full-on fit, and he knows how she is, and he's like, you need to get the fuck out. Anna bites him. She fights him, and then ultimately ends up gnawing on the man. She bit him. You know who else bit people? Stephanie Lazarus. There is a history with these people that you must take seriously. And if the biting wasn't the icing on the cake, picture this. You're coming home from dinner and you're with your husband, your wife, whatever. You walk in, you turn on the lights, you just kind of walk through the foyer, walk by the dining room, the bathroom's on the left, and something catches your eye. And you look over, and there's a woman shitting in your toilet. That woman was Anna Trujillo. That really happened. Neighbors came home and she was just taking a dump in their bathroom. This woman is terrifying. Like I said, she had a history of getting into arguments and fights with boyfriends and exes. And on June 9th, 2013, Anna and Stefan went out for a night of drinking, as usual. In fact, they're probably on their way to the bar wondering what they're going to be arguing about later. I mean, this is normal for them. Even the bar that they were going to, the bar patrons have seen them argue before. This is just a regular night. Sometimes after a while, people just accept abuse as part of their relationship or their pattern. So they go out to this bar and they're drinking, talking to people, having fun, just doing what they do. And that's kind of when the argument starts. But this wasn't really the usual. They ended up leaving, and they ended up leaving very abruptly and calling a cab. They were picked up by a woman named Rosemary Gomez. And on the ride back home, Rosemary said that Anna was absolutely wasted, belligerent, cursing, yelling at him, all while he didn't really respond much. He just kind of took it. And Anna's just going off, throwing a fit. And Rosemary is so concerned that when she finally pulls up to the house to drop them off, and Anna gets out and storms off, Rosemary says to Stefan, you need to be careful. Your friend is not in the right state of mind. It is so powerful to me that Rosemary said, not in the right state of mind. She is somewhere else. She is fighting some other battle in her mind. It's almost like Stefan is just the one that's here and that's present. And Stefan turns to Rosemary and he shakes her hand and he squeezes it and he says, I'll be okay. And he goes inside. It's incredibly haunting to me that he says, I'll be okay, because the abuse that he was experiencing in the back of that car was normal for him. He's used to it from Anna. Maybe he's used to it from someone else too. And when you take that type of abuse, whether it's from an early age or later in life or whatever, you kind of start to believe that this is what you deserve. It pushes your boundaries. It makes you, you almost feel safer there in that abuse because this is what you've experienced your whole life. And so he's used to Anna being like this at this point, no matter what level it is, no matter what anyone says. So what ends up happening is they get inside and the argument escalates. We have no idea what words were said. The only person that's still alive that was in that room is Anna Trujillo. But what we do know is that at some point in the hallway, Anna rushed him and tackled him to the ground. And she pulled off her stiletto and she hit Stefan. And when I think about how he deals with this abuse, this is not the first time that he's been hit before. And so when Anna hits him with that shoe the first time, he probably thinks she's just being herself. And when she hits him a second time with that stiletto, he thinks she's just being herself. And then when she hits him a third time with that stiletto, he probably thinks, oh my God, this hurts. She's letting it out, because that's often what abuse victims do. They take it and they believe that they deserve it. And when she struck him again that fourth time, there's got to be a moment of fear in Stefan's head where he realizes, is she going to stop? And then she hits him again. And then at this point, he's probably really feeling the effects of being stabbed in the face with a 5-inch stiletto. With a 59-year-old man taking injuries like this and losing blood, there is a point. But oh my God, Anna doesn't stop after the 5th or the 6th or the 7th or the 8th or the 9th or the 10th. She continues to beat this man with the stiletto. I believe that she did this because she wanted to punish him with something that he loved. It was like literally throwing it back in his face. Anna stabbed this man with that 5-inch stiletto in the face over 20 times. She broke bones, she broke skin, she probably pierced his eyes. She had completely destroyed his face. And a lot of times when people do this, it's, I hate you, I never want to see you again, I never want to see your face again, I never want to see you talk to me, I never want to see you smile at me ever, ever, ever and again. And she kept going and she kept going and she let it all out. And I also believe that it was not Stefan that Anna was really angry at. It was somebody else, and this was who was in front of her. So after she stabs him to death in the face with a fucking shoe, she calls 911 and plays victim. I'm unable to find the call online, but I was able to find some transcripts and information from that call. And on that call, they say that Anna immediately began to play victim. She said that he had rushed her, she had to defend herself, and she pleads self-defense on the phone to the 911 operator. You know, a lot of times people are upset that this happened, that they've killed a loved one, that they've killed anyone. But usually when people start throwing the victim under the bus right away, that's a big red flag. Anna Trujillo was arrested the next day. But when they got to that crime scene and saw that man, his face riddled with all of the rage of her past. After she stabbed this man and left him on the floor to bleed out in his own home that he so graciously welcomed her into, she then went on to tell investigators that he was attacking her. A struggle broke out. She said she couldn't breathe and she was screaming and begging for him to let her go. She tells this and nobody buys her story because it does not match with any of the forensic evidence. It is obvious that Stefan had been rushed by her. He was pinned down into submission until she grabbed the shoe and started beating him. And I think also it's fair to say there's no reason to stab somebody in the face 25 times with a stiletto. But I've told you everything from articles, from my point of view, my opinions, all of that. Like I said, Anna likes to think of herself as a little celebrity, and she's done several videos. Let's see what she has to say for herself. But first, let's take a look at younger hot Vinnie Politan, and then also Anna doing the whole reenactment of what she claims happened that night. Hi, Vinnie.
the courtroom looked more like a theater as convicted killer Anna Trujillo and her
I'm just looking at this attorney. He's kind of supposed to be Stefan here, and Anna's well, he's just, very...
Anna Trujillo and her attorney acted out the moments before she bludgeoned her boyfriend to death with a stiletto shoe.
This is what it was like to her.
Anderson.
So this case is a little frozen in time. I can't find the actual testimony, but it's kind of infamous. Here, you can see Vinny and his co-anchor kind of taking a look at her just expressions throughout. I mean, dude, take a look at that. Just the range of like how expressive she is like while she's telling it. What was that? What was that? Ugh, that teeth grimace. And those are the actual shoes. This is the infamous Anna Trujillo just testimony photo. I feel like this says so much about who she was. This was a very angry woman. She had a lot of internalized rage. At what? We don't know. Go to therapy. Let's check out one of her interviews.
To leave.
Then she says he attacked her.
The pain was so excruciating and I was in fear and all I had was my shoe. So I just took my shoe off and I didn't know what else to do. And I just started to hit him.
Why, if this was self-defense,
Is anyone buying that? Nobody.
What did he do to you?
I can't talk. I feel like I've been cut open, gutted, and my whole life has been a circus and an exhibition, and they've turned me into someone I'm not.
No. No. There is absolutely no denying that this is a violent, abusive woman. There is absolutely no denying it. I'm going to be honest, guys. It's incredibly hard for me to kind of talk about this because this woman is claiming abuse. And I would, the thought, this is why it's hard for me to talk about this because I wouldn't want to, discredit somebody who has been hurt, been abused or something in this relationship. And I'm sure that this was toxic, probably on both sides. It probably really was. You cannot assault strangers, assault a security guard, bite your ex-boyfriend, and then murder somebody and then sit here and play victim. You can't do that. And it sucks because, we're in this climate right now where it's hard for me to say stuff like that. It's like we're not there yet. But I think a lot of you guys watching this know that this woman is an abuser. She is.
Trujillo says that she still loves her boyfriend.
Oh, dude, what is this graphic? Jesus fucking Christ. Honest question. You guys in the comments, let me know, and give me a yes or no, but also add a little extra line in there. I'll read these comments, okay? Do you think that anyone should show Anna mercy here? With her sentencing, do you think that she should be shown mercy?
Now the jury has spoken, and it seems clear that they did not buy her story. ABC's Ryan Smith has more on their sentencing decision.
We, the jury, having found the defendant guilty of murder.
Murder with a stiletto, walking Anna Trujillo into prison for life. Trujillo stunned and crying.
Goodbye for life.
As a Houston jury took just a few hours to sentence the 45-year-old mother of two for killing boyfriend Stefan Anderson by stabbing him with the shoe's 5.5-inch heel.
Oh my God, look at that. This is the reenactment of how she was over him. Completely dominant. Could have stopped at any point in time. Oh my God. Just legs over him and just hitting him over and over and over again. And that's the last thing that he saw as he bled out in his own home.
She's crazy, but scary crazy.
Anything less than a life verdict is unacceptable.
You know what? I thought about that. The prosecutor's closing line. I hate the word crazy because people use it. They just throw it out there all the time. You ever been called crazy before? Look, if you've been called, you're probably not crazy, okay? The prosecutor's closing statement here, he said, she's not mentally unstable. She's crazy. Scary crazy. I don't dare trying to understand what's going on in her mind. I don't know. I really don't like to use the word crazy a lot, but she on one. Oh my God. Wait, can you get the